Yo, what's going on, New Fighting Order fans? It's your boy D Mizzle Farizzle coming at you with the July 11th podcast of the year 2013. I'm joined as always with my man Nelson Rios, New Shantakuma, and some guy we just happened to run into along the way. I think this is Alex Lexus coming back from the Army service. So, what's going down, Alex Lexus?
That day he came in with some Z.
Oh my god. Wow.
Had to go old school.
Alright. MC Alex Lexus with his handheld microphone. Yes. So we got an interesting bevy of topics here for you all, and we're gonna start it off with Nintendo, which is something we rarely do not do on this podcast, but I felt it interesting to bring up because
we do not do what?
Yeah, we don't bring up Nintendo very often on this podcast, so I thought we
for negative PR reasons.
And I thought we lead off with something that has not been widely reported through the video game journal blogosphere, which is something that I think should be getting a lot of attention, but it's not. And that's on the most recent shareholders meeting, because I do own stock in Nintendo, and I was on the conference call. Miyamoto let it slip that, well, he didn't let it slip. He flat out said that they vastly underestimated the manpower and ability necessary to develop on an HD console. And I think this is big news, because if Jack Tretton or Steve Ballmer has said this about their respective consoles at Sony and Microsoft, this would be like major news, but apparently Nintendo is getting a pass for this. So I'm gonna let Alex Lexus jump in on this first, since he's our returning conquering hero. So go ahead, Alex Lexus.
Yo, he got a train on his background.
What? Alex Lexus?
I've been on a podcast in almost a month and a half, and it hasn't changed.
Yo, why do you got a train? Yo. You know what I realized? Hold on. You know what I realized?
Alright, listen.
Yo, why does Nuke have a vehicle in his background, and why the hell does Shintakuma have another vehicle in his background? What's going on, yo?
They're trying to get the heck up out of here. You know what? To respond to but you know what? To respond. Nuke, shut up!
His name popped up like a super villain.
Oh my goodness! If we feel like I'm talking down,
Alright, go ahead.
But to caveat on the Mizzle, and before I go any further, I have to give all the New Fighting Order kudos for hosting and handling shows in my absence. They have done an excellent job, so thank you guys. I know if I go away again, the company's in good hands, and Nelson being, the corporate lead in my absence, and then, the Mizzle, excellent job, and everybody else. Now, talking about Nintendo, they underestimated what the manpower, and this is Nintendo's fault, because if you really think about it, Nintendo always got by doing the bare minimum, okay? And now when they're stepping up into the big leagues, they can't handle it. They're almost like, oh man, this is a whole lot, you know what I mean? And I guess doing the bare minimum is not going to work anymore going forward. Now they're feeling it. They're feeling the pressure. They're ill-prepared. I mean, even Mercury Steam was talking about, hey, Nintendo's so far behind that we at Mercury Steam, we're not going to make Lords of Shadow 2 on the Wii U because, hey, guess what? We don't have the resources. If they really wanted to, they could have, but it's up to the developers and the manufacturers of the systems and the games to make it happen. So I blame Nintendo for, I don't know, Miyamoto is not really making the best corporate decisions for his company, but that's just my 2 cents. So, the Mizzle can take that, and then, we'll go around the table in terms of, I just don't get Nintendo's rationale right now, because back then it used to work. Hey, just give them a little bit, they're good. With the SNES, that was the last system that they were in the lead with, and Sega was the only competition at the time. Now they got to step it up. You got beasts like Microsoft and Sony kicking their teeth in like left and right, and they're trying to find a niche, and it's just not gonna work. I don't know how much longer Nintendo has, and a lot of Nintendo fanboys who watch the show will not agree with what I'm saying, but it's true. And I used to be a Nintendo fanboy. Demizzle will tell you since high school, you know. And then once they just you start seeing how Nintendo, it's pathetic. I feel bad that they're like dead last right now, but that's just my 2 cents. So Demizzle, you got the floor again.
I appreciate your thoughts on that, Alex. And Newt, what do you think about Nintendo essentially telling the public that they weren't ready to develop on their own console? What do you think about that?
Well, to piggyback on Alex Leskus, you know what? I don't think my issue with Nintendo is, first of all, that makes me very wary of buying your products. It means you're playing it safe, because what's going on in research and development for you not to know that it was going to take this? Like, how much time did you actually spend developing this system? Because honestly, I don't see it as a huge step forward from the Wii. It's like they might as well just call this the Wii Plus, in my opinion. Also, I think a huge issue with Nintendo, and you could even see it when I caught some of the E3 stuff, was they are recycling their old I'm done. They're recycling.
Pick up your work phone, son.
Franchises. They're recycling their old franchises way too much, and it's like, okay, like Mario has like 40 games, Smash Brothers has like 40 games, Metroid has like 40 games, Zelda has like 40 games. You know what I'm saying? Mario Party, Mario Kart, you know, Pikmin 15. It's like Nintendo.
He said Pikmin 15.
Dig out the old cartridges. Blow the cartridges off the NES game and give us some remakes for those. Blow some of the cartridges off of the N64 and SNES games and bring some franchises back. I don't think they're innovating enough. I understand the whole Wii U controller and motion control.
Yeah, where the hell is Triforce, damn it?
That's cool. That's cool, but it's like, I need something new to play. Like, Sony is old, and as long as they've been in the game, they're bringing new franchises. They're bringing fresh ideas. Nintendo is kind of like,
don't forget Microsoft.
Mario.
No, can I jump in on that?
Yeah.
Don't forget Microsoft with taking chances on creating new IPs. How many new IPs did they reveal at E3? You know what I mean? I mean, hell, they could have milked the hell out of Gears of War and Halo, but you see they're branching off into other, franchises to keep it fresh. Like Sony for the longest time, Nintendo and Sega for the longest time had a mascot, but Microsoft, although we have Master Chief, you also can look at the 360 as like, hey, Gears of War, Marcus Phoenix. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just Nintendo has to take a risk and create a new IP and keep people interested again. You know, but giving you the floor.
And just one last thing, what they have to realize is, and it's like back to what you said, they're playing it safe. They're giving people just enough. I really truly believe that the gaming market has shifted. You know, back in the day with NES and Super Nintendo, you had way more kids playing. But now with online play and the streaming and the music and the movies and all that, the average gamer, I think now is probably a little older. You know what I mean? Maybe a little older. So now it's like, okay, I'm not dumb. You're rehashing the same series. I need more. You know, a little kid, they'll love Mario forever. But it's like, okay, I'm 25, 26. Why would I buy your product? Or if I'm 15, 16, you know, how many Mario games can you make? And it's like you said, you got to get out there and take risks, man. You got to get out there and take risks, create something fresh and new so people want to continue to buy your product. Because right now, I feel like Nintendo needs to get out of the home console business and just continue dominating handhelds and just make games for other systems. That's how I feel about it.
And you know what? That's not far from reality. I remember there were rumors about that some time ago. If Nintendo stayed handheld, I think they'd be more successful, you know? And to actually piggyback on something Demizzle said on a past podcast, the kids of today aren't like us. They're different. They're plugged into social media, and to be honest, they have an ADD mentality. Not to insult any of our audience viewing right now, but they're not like us. We would stick with a game through the trenches, and now it's like, oh, I beat it, I'm done. Or if it's too hard, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, to give Shin Takuma some time, what are your thoughts on that, Takuma?
Has this died yet? I mean, I bought this for a reason. It's Nintendo Wii U controller. I'm sitting there pressing up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, stop, still getting nothing. Have they died? Have they actually just tanked it? With all the changes, all the updates, all the new software, I understand that they're trying to come back into the gaming reality of actual games that they used to make, trying to get back into the whole blood of things. But when Xbox One dropped, when the new PS4 dropped, like somebody said, that they're gonna get beat bad to the point where it's like their whole company is going to fold. It's gonna be too late for the handhelds because they should have stayed with that. But at this stage in the game, it's kind of too late. They need to go back into their closet, like my man said, load up the Nintendo cartridges, give us back those old games we grew up on. We used to play constantly for hours, miss school, sometimes miss work, come home and relax and chill. Cause I was one of the kids that I missed school to come play Nintendo. That's how addicted I was.
Gamer, guys.
Right.
Come on.
But, I mean,
come on, Alex. I remember the one day you missed a day of school due to Super Metroid. I remember that. Come on now.
What are you talking about?
I remember that day, Alex. I remember that day, Alex.
Come back.
Nah, you know what?
I mean, when Ninja,
that was a long time ago. Demizo was trying to lie on me.
The first Ninja Gaiden, right? The Ninja Gaiden, but the first Ninja, I wanted to know how to play that game more. It took me like weeks and months to actually beat that game. My brother beat it before me. That's how much I fell in love with Nintendo because it made games as you went on. It got a little harder. It got a little bit challenging. Now you got all these Marios. Don't forget about Sonic. You got all these Sonics.
Oh God.
I'm not sure what they're doing, but Mario needs to be past the pasture. I love Sonic. I grew up on him, but I think he's running his last mile. The other little kiddie games, which I understand, but they need to actually try to separate most of the kiddie games and everything else from the stuff they need to get back into. So give us back what you used to give us and revamp it. Make it longer. Make it better. That's all I got.
Alright, I'm sensing Nelson has a little bit to add to this, so go ahead, Nelson. Well, they are bringing out a Zelda, but it's not a new one. They're doing a Wind Waker HD. Yeah.
Really?
So that. Yeah.
I beat that game twice. I kind of hated it.
I'm sorry.
The least
so that kind of tells you.
hearing.
That kind of tells you where Nintendo's at with Zelda right now. But Nelson, what do you think of Nintendo vastly underestimating what it took to develop on the HD system?
As I said before, Nintendo was good up until GameCube, and that's it. So I really don't have much to talk about this topic because of the fact that Nintendo really hasn't been a big topic. The only thing that I hear from Nintendo is nothing but re-releases of the same thing that they've been making for the last 20 years. I don't need to see that no more. And another thing that I'm pretty disgusted about is why Nintendo, of all people, come out of nowhere and ban, censor, and take down any video content that's either on YouTube, Twitch.tv, or Ustream. Why of this ban for? I don't understand. Now we going into EVO tomorrow, where you have the most participants ever for Super Smash Bros. Melee, and it can't be streamed because Nintendo said no.
No, they reinstituted it like hours later.
Yeah, they took that back because of all the negative PR going on with that. Which, I guess in conclusion, on the Nintendo side of things, Nintendo is just making poor decisions. Why they're trying to control how their games are being put out there in terms of hey, that's free advertisement. Like when you got Alpha Omega Sin and a couple other guys doing Let's Plays like D-Man Plays, you know what I mean? And you want to pull revenue off of that? I mean, you're getting free advertisement. And if somebody, like for instance, there was a certain game that I saw that on a Let's Play, like Deadpool, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I might go ahead and buy it. Or I might get the PC version. You know what I mean? When you start like pulling things down, or I'm not gonna let you guys stream my freaking Evo, and it's bad enough that Smash Brothers is still trying to find its identity, where you got some people who classify it as a fighting game and others who don't. But it's on the biggest stage of them all when it comes to the fighters, and then you want to ban the streaming, and then rescind your decision. All of a sudden, Nintendo really needs to get it together. Really, I mean, they can use all the popular and positive PR they can get. So, I don't know. I grew away from Nintendo after N64. It just wasn't doing it for me, and I'm not the only one who thinks this way. The Nintendo's just overall catering to kids, not making the best decisions, and they screwed up when they lost Rare and they lost Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah, you're right about
and
that.
that was the wrap.
They lost Rare, that was it.
All right, we got one more topic for Nintendo, which is kind of an interesting topic, which is kind of funny and sad.
I wouldn't even say interesting. I think it would be a waste of time, but you could introduce it though. I think it's a waste of time talking about it.
Alright, what this is that Nintendo did a study recently, and they had gamers of today, like today's gamers, teenagers, little kids play Super Mario Brothers, and the vast majority of them couldn't get past the first level. Like, and I find it funny because of the results of the study is like, most of the kids thought the coins were enemies and worked to avoid them. Like 75% of the people died at the first Goomba. 90% of the people didn't use the run button. It was just real sad.
Wow.
And I mean, like, if they put in the comments that were given after they played the game were just mind-boggling. A lot. It was like a lot of them wanted
to do this. I make them jump. That's not gonna work. Am I supposed to get
a lot of
it's a mushroom. You're supposed to get it.
A lot of them wanted Mario. A lot of them wanted Mario to start off with a gun or a sword. A lot of them wanted him to start up more powerful than he already was, even though they were told that there are power-ups in the game that they do get eventually. And it was just mind-boggling that these kids think this way, that they couldn't beat the first level of Super Mario Brothers 1. My mother can beat Super Mario Brothers 1, and these kids cannot beat the first level. And it's just flies. It just makes me have no hope for the future of games if this is where we're going to, because games are going to be catered to that market. It's going to be catered to that, like, oh, the character needs to be like overly powerful, or we need to hold the player's hand in order for them to progress in our game. And I don't like that. Just makes me mad, and it makes me laugh at the same time. So Alex, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you see, I remember games like Ninja Gaiden, Double Dragon 2, Strider, some of those older games that presented a challenge, and it was
First of
either
all,
sink or
Alex,
swim.
let me cut you off right there. And then you can continue. Mind you, those young gamers who are watching this, back in those Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega days, there was no saving. You had to sit down and beat the whole game in one sitting. Some games
Or
were nice
use a
enough to give you a little
password system.
password system, yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. But going back on what Demizo said, they are not like us. Believe it or not, we are what started the hardcore generation. Like, again, Ninja Gaiden 1. That game was fucking hard. To Nintendo. Holy shit.
After about stage
I
4,
remember I left my Nintendo on overnight at the game over screen so I can continue the next day. just so I can fight Jackio or Ninja Gaiden 2 fighting Ashtar and trying to fight the demons or the demon statues and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
they just don't understand. Games have become too easy. They honestly, just like a lot of the WWE stuff, they went away from the hardcore and went more for entertainment. You know? I guess entertainment sells. You know what I mean? Like Gears of War, it's easy to run up to somebody and chainsaw them, but it takes true skill and essences finesse to go through Contra doing the 30-man code without getting hit by a bullet. You know what I'm saying? So this is just, that's just something where over time the challenges have been lost. You know, so that's just, you know, my little rant on that. But yeah, it became more entertainment.
Let me
Go ahead, Takuma. Jump in. Yeah, with double dutch.
We got
Hold on.
we got people who cannot beat the first level of Mario. I'm sorry, I'm kind of just like shocked and appalled by that. It's easy. Don't bump into anything. The first question block you see, hit that, get your mushroom, and then the next one is gonna be the fire flower. You get that, and you just run through the whole level. If not, you go underground. You mean to tell me simple people cannot pick a controller and press A, B, and run with that? I'm sorry, that hurts.
Oh, can I
It's
jump
a
in?
challenge, but that hurts.
There's a
I
reason.
know
There's a reason
2,
for that.
3 or 4 year olds. I can't believe that. Of course, they're not gonna be able, because like you said, they want all this. Oh, I need to get like all these power-ups in the first round. No, dumbass. How about Mason? It's on my language, but it's true. Hello, dumbass. How about you earn this stuff? That's how you get to learn to play the games. That's how you get to learn things. Learn the game. You need to first know how to get this in order to use it. That's why I miss these games where they presented a challenge. You start off with nothing, but you build to something more. That's why I miss like playing like Zelda. You start with like 3 hearts, but at the end of the game, you got like about 10 and all these damn swords and everything else. Games like Metroid, well, you start with no missiles. At the end, you got all these health tanks and everything else. You got 255 missiles. So you got kind of an advantage to beat the game. So yeah, we need to get out the whole thing of gimme, and I know you want this, you have to earn it. That's it.
Now, Takuma, just to jump in real quick. Back then, remember, only few games had tutorials. The rest of the stuff, like Mario, Ninja Gaiden, you had to find out as you went along. And God forbid you didn't have a manual for your Nintendo game. You know what I mean?
Castlevania.
You know
the
what I'm
first
saying?
Castlevania.
Yeah, you had to figure it out. You know, now it's like you got a
My
tutorial
brother played that
section
game
and all this
constantly.
stuff.
I had to tell my brother a lie in order to him to beat that guy. Said, Mick, when you get the dragon, he gonna start talking. My brother spent weeks to get to the end of the game. And when he found out he didn't talk, I was like, well, I had to get you to motivate you. Even possessed to get to the end of Castlevania. Castlevania 2 was a challenge. 3 was okay, but we're not gonna get to the whole list of 1,000 Nintendo games, because I can go by a whole list and tell you the challenge. Even the Mega Man series was hard.
Yeah, it's still hard to this day.
Like,
Even
you
the new
still
ones
want to
that
be
came
Guts
out.
Man and Guts Man, you have no hope.
Yep.
But somebody else take over. Somebody else take over.
Go ahead, Noob, yo. I want to hear your thoughts on, like, why are gamers of this generation so pathetic? Why do they need their hands held? What's going on? Well, I guess Noob is done. Oh, he's here.
I'm right here. What are you talking about? Listen,
Yeah,
at the end of the
take
day,
his shirt off. Like,
it was already off. What it comes down to at the end of the day was those old greenbacks, man. At the end of the day, it was money. They didn't want games to be so exclusive. They wanted it to be more inclusive. So they said, hey, we make it easier. More people are willing to try it. More people are willing to play it. More people are willing to buy it. And I know this is tried and true because a lot of my homegirls that come through and play, or even some of my homeboys, one of the first things that they say, because we're the same age, nah, man, I don't play them games, man. It's too hard. I'm like, no, you can really do this. Because they had that mentality from back in the day. You know, you just knew. When you saw some people play certain games, you was like, oh no. You know what I mean? And now today, it's like, it's to the point where whenever I get a brand new game in the shrink wrap, when I put the game in, I automatically turn it to the hardest difficulty. Because to me, a lot of the times, the hardest difficulty, to me, should be normal. That should be the normal setting. Like games like Ninja Gaiden 2, I love that game. And the first Ninja Gaiden Black, and Ninja Gaiden 2 of this generation, that's what I think the standard of difficulty of any game, adventure game, should be. Especially if it's only going to be, 6 to maybe 8 hours. Make it tough, make it hard, make it challenging. Don't forget about your core audience, who help, keep your company going today, because that is very annoying when you get a game, you've been anticipating it, like the new Devil May Cry. I loved it, but I felt a little cheated at the end because it was a little too easy. It was too easy. And then my thing is this: put your money into your software. Don't make the game more difficult by saying, "Oh, if you get hit one time, you die." What? That's OD. That's OD. Actually, take the time to work on the AI. You know what I mean, and truly make the game challenging. But that's where the difficulty thing came from, and I read that in the article. They know that gamers of today can't really handle it, and I mean, it goes back to some people and just the way our country thinks as a whole. Let's make it easier. Let's dumb it down so we can make more money. You're actually hurting people at the end of the day, because I mean, before you know it, we're going to be going back to Palm.
All right, well,
you're giving away our ages, man.
Good thoughts, good thoughts, and Nelson, man, I know you got something, because I know you're a die-hard gamer, so come on, bring something, come on now.
We're talking about something that came out in 1986, 1987, of the first level of a game that is right now unnecessary to even talk about. For the study that showed of this generation that they can't beat the first level, I'm sorry to say, I want to know who they got these results from, because it sounds like, not to badmouth on, the less fortunate, but those kids must have been either mentally retarded, or they must have gotten a little bit younger kids of the range from 2 and 3. I'm just saying, because there's no way that you can sit there and tell me that you can't hold forward, not even while running, not even getting the power. You telling me you can't hold forward and hit jump 13 times. That's all you need to do. Hit jump 13 times and you beat the level. I've statistically broke it down for you just now, so no one could feel stupid. 13 times. And no one can't do that? And hold forward for a minute and a half? No. This is...
It is crazy, man.
This is just horrible. That's the reason why I don't even want to speak on it, because no one can be that fucking stupid. This is like the stepping stone of gaming.
You're right.
No one can be this stupid. I'm sorry. We're talking about games that have the hardest difficulty on the planet, such as Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, such as Dark Souls, and you have a couple other games that's has that impossible factor. And you're talking about Mario, of all games? Yo, I'm gonna jump out my fucking window. That's OD, yo. I'm gonna jump out my fucking window, yo.
It's not full of Mario. It's not full of
Mario. Got a member on the verge of suicide because he's so pissed.
This is so bad, son.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I can't. Yeah.
It was fun hosting the show, but I'm going to give it back to Alex, because I know he has some information about Capcom that he's dying to get off his chest, so it's all yours, Alex.
Well, what's going to happen, we're going to break it up, so, Nelson, if we can go off air for a few, I just want to conclude this portion. Demizzle did a great job, as always. Noop and Shinwar did a great job as well in my absence.
Shinwar?
It's good to be back, guys. Yeah, he did one. Well, you were. I don't think you were on that one.
He was on it.
But, yeah. Oh, were you?
Yeah, he was on it.
I guess Luke was too black. I couldn't see him against the Ubu screen.
Wow.
But we're going to conclude this segment. We're going to come back with segment 2. And for those of you who want to tune out and then check out other things on the channel, below I put a link to D-Man Plays channel. So there's actually a section in there. I'll be doing that for Salty Gamers and a couple other personalities on YouTube. So we just get the network. So shout out to you guys, Mugen Guild, and all the other guys. I'm starting to put more Mugen content back on the page. So just check out the Stay Zoom, that feature that Electabite has put out. And we'll come back in a few minutes for segment 2. If you want to cut out, we'll see you next time on the New Fighting Order podcast.